तो मेरी बेटी है दुकान में घास काट रही ऐसे करके बैठ के, तो ये लोग पीछे से आगे तक दुपट्टा तो ऐसे करके लटका हुआ ऐसे करके दुपट्टा, तो पीछे से आके ये एकदम इसको दबा दिया। तो दबाने के बाद वो खींच के भीतर ले गए, करीब 20 फुट भीतर।
मेरी लड़की को बिल्कुल होश नहीं था, तब मैंने अपनी नंगी थी बिल्कुल, तो मैंने अपना पल्ली में डाल दिया।
The alleged assault on a Dalit girl in UP's Hathras district has once again raised questions about how India's criminal justice system fails to address systemic problems at the ground level when it comes to dealing with cases of rape. The UP ADG Law and Order, Prashant Kumar, had ruled out rape in the Hathras case on the basis of an FSL report which said that no sperm was found. What he didn't say was that the samples were taken 11 days after the incident. What the ADG didn't realize was that when he made this baseless comment, he actually exposed the systemic loopholes in how sexual assault in India is recorded, investigated, and reported. An investigation by News Laundry shows how the delay in recording statements and conducting physical examination of the victim led to the destruction of crucial evidence.
There are 4 places where the victim, whom we would like to call Asha, was taken to by her family after the assault. On 14 September, after Asha's mother found her in the Bajra fields, naked and bleeding from private parts, she was first taken to the Chandpa police station. It is at the Chandpa police station where Asha's first video testimony is recorded, as she was made to lie down on a cement block right outside the Thana. On being asked why she was strangled, Asha replies, "Zabardasti na karne de rahi tasu, because I resisted their attempt to rape me." However, the FIR filed at the Chandpa police station dated 14 September mentioned Section 307 IPC, attempt to murder, and Section 325 of the SC and ST Prevention of Atrocities Act. The police didn't file charges related to rape in this very first FIR. This was one of the first lapses. It is worth mentioning here that Asha's family had not mentioned the word rape in their complaint to the police.
Police told Asha's family to take her away to the hospital. According to Asha's cousin, this is what the policeman said.
ये इन्हें यहाँ से उठा के ले जाओ, मतलब ये बहाने बना के लेटी हुई है, हमें फंसाना है क्या तुम्हें, ऐसे बोला पुलिस वालों ने.
Asha's family took her to the nearest hospital in Hathras, which is the Bagla Joint District Hospital, but her family told us that not one policeman accompanied them all the way to the hospital. This was the second lapse. The Justice Verma Committee, constituted in the wake of December 2012 gang rape and murder in New Delhi, had recommended that dereliction of duty in taking the victim to the nearest hospital would be a punishable offence. Doctors at the Bagla hospital referred Asha to Aligarh the same day. At the Bagla District Hospital on 14 September, the doctor provided first aid but did not conduct the legally mandated medico-legal examination or issue an MLC. The referral slip issued by the Bagla District Hospital says MLC not conducted due to serious condition. There is a contradiction regarding the MLC. While the referral slip says that the MLC wasn't done at the district hospital, the Aligarh hospital claims in its records that MLC was done at Bagla hospital. Nevertheless, the hospital in Aligarh conducted an MLC on 14 September itself. The third lapse in the case was this. Even though the family did not inform the doctors about possible sexual assault, considering the seriousness of the injuries, the doctor should have asked Asha or her family if the victim has been sexually assaulted or not.
It was at the Bagla District Hospital in Hathras where Asha's second video was recorded by a local journalist. In it, she speaks about Zabardasti for the second time, a colloquial reference to rape.
किस बात को लेकर?
कोई बात नहीं, अपने बात से ले गए थे, फिर हमने ले रही थी तो अंदर ले गया मुझे और गला दबा दिया. मेरी जबरदस्ती करने की कोशिश की, ऐसे मजा करी सोच में गला दबा दिया.
This was possibly the fourth lapse in the case. The victim herself was saying that she had been raped and naming one of the accused, Sandeep. Yet, charges related to rape were not added to the FIR, nor was the victim sent for medical examination. This prevented doctors from timely collection of evidence and rape examination. Even at the Aligarh hospital, Asha's family members told us that the doctors didn't ask about the possibility of a sexual assault. One of the victim's cousins told News Laundry that on 17 September, 3 days after Asha was admitted to Aligarh's Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College and Hospital, her mother told other family members about the rape. According to Asha's cousin, when they informed the attending doctor and the nurse at the Aligarh Medical College, they were told, quote, "Unless the required sections are added in the FIR, we can't conduct an examination on our own," unquote. This was a clear violation of Section 357C of the CRPC, which mandates all hospitals, public or private, to provide free treatment to a victim of sexual assault and immediately inform the police of such incidents.
After the doctor refused to refer her for a rape examination, a family member told us that they immediately rushed to the circle officer's office but could not find him there. On 18 September, Asha's family members organized a dharna at the collectorate and gave a letter to the district magistrate requesting that sections related to gang rape be added to the original FIR. A day later, on 19 September, they approached the SP Hathras and submitted a similar request in the form of a letter. Here, the SP gave an oral confirmation to the family that the requested charges would be added. On 20th and 21st September, Asha was unconscious. It was only when she regained consciousness on 22nd September that a formal letter was sent by the Department of Neurology to the casualty medical officer at Aligarh Medical College asking for a magistrate to record Asha's dying declaration. So 8 days after the incident, Asha's statement was finally recorded, in which she named 3 other accused besides Sandeep. 8 days later, sections of gang rape were finally added to the FIR. Remember, the first 96 hours are crucial for evidence collection in such cases. In the Hathras case, 192 hours had passed before the victim's testimony was recorded formally and sections 376D were added to the FIR. Meanwhile, the third video testimony of Asha surfaced on social media, in which she reiterated allegations of rape and named Ravi along with Sandeep. She also said there had been an earlier attempt to rape her, but she had managed to escape. According to a news report, this video was shot at Aligarh Medical College on 22nd September.
The torn clothes Asha was wearing that day were still at her home. Her mother had changed her clothes before taking Asha to the Chandpa police station. Her cousin told News Laundry that they had washed the underwear, which was soiled with feces. On 24th September, Asha's clothes were finally sent for forensic examination. Thus, another crucial piece of evidence was lost due to delay in sexual assault forensic exam.
On 27 September, when News Laundry visited Asha's house in Hathras, her mother showed us the pair of blue slippers her daughter wore on the day of the assault. It was the drag marks of these slippers that led Asha's mother to find her in the Bajra field after she had gone missing. Till date, these slippers are still lying at home and not collected by the forensics.
A crime scene is crucial for collecting evidence during an investigation. Yet, when News Laundry visited Hathras on September 27, Asha's mother walked us to the field and showed us where her daughter had been attacked. Ideally, the police should have sealed off the place. So while the entire village has turned into a police camp and remains under surveillance, the crime scene was left open and trampled upon.
The doctor who conducted the rape examination concluded that, quote, "On the basis of local examination, I am of the opinion that there are signs of use of force. However, opinion regarding penetrative intercourse is reserved pending availability of the FSL report," unquote. It also noted the presence of healed abrasions on the back which were not mentioned in the initial examination. Presence of semen was not established, and that is not even necessary to prove rape, as sperm cells can typically be detected in vaginal swabs only up to 3 days. Another glaring question. Even though the report states that the patient was not menstruating from her vagina when she was being examined, it mentions that she did use sanitary pads after the assault. This is evidence that the girl was bleeding vaginally. If there was no menstrual blood, why was Asha made to wear sanitary pads? Her mother told News Laundry that when she found her in the Bajra field, she did see vaginal bleeding, but we found no mention of this in the hospital records. Moreover, to the 10 lapses highlighted in an exclusive News Laundry report, which you can all read on the website, another mismatch seems to exist even in the postmortem report prepared by the Safdarjung Hospital in New Delhi, dated 29 September. Even though the postmortem report mentions old heel tear in the anal orifice, the doctor does not mention the date of the old heel tear that could have been caused due to sexual assault. The Hathras rape case has unfortunately become another classic example of how crucial evidence was ignored right from the police station to the government hospitals. It is worth asking whether there was a deliberate attempt to cover up the facts in this case.